Hi, Lana. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Listeners, we have Alannah Zilkowsky here. She is a Canadian hairstylist, salon owner, and website designer specifically for hairdressers and salons. And so I said Canadian hairdresser, not just Canadian, but Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, right? So, where I'm going to express my ignorance about Canada. Where is Edmonton?
So, Edmonton is in Alberta, which is the western provinces. So, if you're in Montana, you follow the Rocky Mountains all the way up north. That takes you to Banff and Jasper National Park, which is about a 3 hour drive from where I live.
Okay, 3 hour drives in which direction? South?
Southwest to get to Banff, basically.
Southwest. And I hear it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. I've had countless people in my life tell me that I have to go to Canada. Have you been to Canada? No. You have to go to Canada. It's so beautiful. They have the best skiing, they have the best everything. Just don't go in the wintertime. Am I right?
Well, it depends. If you want to come for skiing, you kind of have to go in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's true. I guess if you want like the greenery and the evergreens and the beautiful crystal lakes, that would be best in the summertime.
Yes, definitely. However, if you really want like the true essence of like the Canadian winter and the skiing and like the snow-capped mountains and the skidooing and snowshoeing, it's kind of fun to come in the winter because it's different than what you would normally experience. So it depends
That's
what
true.
kind of experience you want and how much contrast and change you
So
want to
how far is
experience.
Whistler from you?
Whistler is about a 6 hour drive.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that would
Yeah.
be west, southwest?
West. Yes,
Okay.
towards British Columbia.
Gotcha. All right. Very interesting. Thank you for the Canadian geography lesson. But that's not what we're here for. We are here to talk about websites for the salon community. And you are a particularly good resource for this because you're a hairstylist and salon owner and a website designer. So why don't we start with how are you a hairstylist, salon owner, and website designer all at the same time? Which do you do most?
Well, anyone who's a salon owner knows that it's all encompassing all the time. It doesn't turn off. So I would say the salon owner overarches everything. I work part-time behind the chair still, and I do web design on the days that I'm not behind the chair.
Okay, very good.
A lot of time management.
I bet a lot of time management, a lot of planning. You probably have a very busy calendar, and you have things planned out weeks and weeks in advance. Am I wrong?
Um, I I have my typical schedule of what's planned out week in advance, but it really depends on the behind the chair and what my clients need from me that week. Because a lot of my clients are monthly, so I do their Google My Business and their website for them on a weekly and monthly basis. So it kind of ebbs and flows based on their need as well.
Okay, very cool. And there's something else about you that I want to mention because it's amazing, and that is that you go to the Philippines to volunteer with Hair Aid. Hair Aid,
Yes.
for those Hair Game Salon listeners, the diehards, you might remember. I'm struggling to remember when this episode was, but I did an episode a number of years ago. I want to say it was even pre-COVID, and we had Tabitha on. And Tabitha is, I think, one of the things that she wanted us to talk about was Hair Aid because she's affiliated with Hair Aid. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm remembering. I think this might have been 2019. So we did an episode with, I want to say, the founder of Hair Aid or the lady who's running Hair Aid now, and we talked about it for at least 15 minutes. But it's an Australian charity which teaches women basic cutting skills so they can earn an income and support their families. And it's just the coolest thing. So for the listeners who don't know about it, it's called Hair Aid. and check it out online. So you do this. How many times have you been to the Philippines?
So I've been to the Philippines twice. I was there January 2020, right before COVID shut us down. So it was the last project that they did. And then I was there again in January 2023, which was their first project after reopening. And that's actually kind of how I started Breeze Web Design, was this kind of want to be able to pull back and earn an income more remotely so I can travel more and volunteer more with Harried, because it is such a phenomenal, impactful organization that I want to volunteer with more and more.
So cool. Okay, so the Philippines both times. Remind me about Harried. Does Harried go to more places or just the Philippines?
Yes, so Harried's been around for, I believe, 12, 13 years now. They've been in the Philippines the whole time. They also do projects in Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, and recently they just started working in Guatemala as well.
Wow, that's extraordinary. So when you get to the Philippines, are you the one teaching the Filipino men and women how to cut hair?
Yep, so it is the volunteer hairstylists who are running the training, hands in the hair, scissors, cutting, showing them how to section. When you volunteer, you are on the ground training.
Wow. And so how long are you there per time?
So the project itself runs a full week. I typically like to back end a vacation at the beginning or the end of it, and then show up a day early and stay a day extra to help wrap things up, just so you're not in a rush with flights or needing to get to the next place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And tell us about the education. I imagine these are people who, the people you're teaching have never cut hair before, or maybe they've cut their family's hair or something. I mean, what is their level between 0 and 10 as far as hair cutting skills?
I would say on average is 0. Maybe, like you said, 1 or 2 people have taken the kitchen scissors to their kids' hair in the past, but you were teaching people completely foundationally day 1 hair cutting skills.
So cool. And so 1 week you have to blow through how to teach someone from a 0 of knowledge to at least get them to a, functioning sort of a level, maybe a 2 or 3, right? So enough for them to throw out a shingle, so to speak, and put a chair, on the street, or maybe even get a storefront and start charging for haircuts?
Yeah, I would say, to be honest, by the end of the week, there are 6 or 7. You would not believe how well the trainees can cut hair at the end of the week. Are they a 10-year hairdresser? Absolutely not. But they were certainly a lot better than me after probably 4 months of school, let alone a week of school. Really? And like how the program is broken down. So say, for example, day 1, beginning in the morning, you're introduced, you show them how to greet a client, how to drape a client, and then how to do the basic 4 sections with clips. And then you hit lunch, show them how to hold a pair of scissors, how to take care of their kids, sanitize, things like that. Then after lunch, they come back, demo and live model full 1-length haircut. By the end of the first day, everyone has cut 1, if not 2 models with a basic blunt 1-line haircut into day 1.
Wow. And you said live models, so they're responsible to bring a friend or a family member, okay, to get a free haircut. And it's a 1 length, and is it any length, or this is not a graduated bob? This is a simple haircut shoulder length, or?
Graduated bob's day 3, actually. We call that the apple cut in the Philippines, the little angled cut.
Yeah.
It really depends on what your model comes in with. If your model comes in with short hair, long hair, how much they're willing to let you take off. So that's a little bit of consultation skills that we're teaching them as well. Like, where do we want the 1-length haircut? So we kind of have to work with what we're given.
That's amazing. Okay, so at the end of the week, how many looks can they do?
So in the end of the 5 weeks, they learned 5 haircuts. So they learn the basic 1-length haircut. They learn a diagonal forward, like the curtain bangs, we call them now, that overly layered shag. Then they learn a diagonal, like the angle forward. Then they learn a uniform, and then we do a men's cut at the end.
Wow. 5 weeks total.
5 days.
5 days. That's what I thought. Okay. So, so at the end of the 5 days, they have a few tools up their sleeve, a few tricks up their sleeve, and they can go and put a chair. And then walk me through how they actually will become a hairdresser earning money.
So the people that we're training, they are women who are in base level poverty. So they are living in slum communities, often, which I've had the privilege to have a tour through their communities. And we're talking dirt floor, corrugated roof, very base level poverty. So at this, you're teaching them the ability to cut their neighbor's hair for a bag of rice, maybe become their community hair cutter. You're teaching them, do your friends and family hair. Maybe you charge 10 pesos. Then you get good, you charge 20 pesos. And that's like, 10, 20 cents US is what. But to them, it's giving them the ability to earn an income and put food on their family's table. So yes, it could be putting a chair outside in the basketball court of the community and cutting people's hair. We're not at the point where, they're going to go walk into a mall salon and get a job. Although there are some superstars with Hair Aid where they have, the people, you had them in hair school where they got it immediately. And there's always a couple superstars, and Hair Aid has connections in the community to help those people get formal cosmetology training or get jobs in salons.
Very cool. So that's really amazing. Thank you for doing that. Let's get into the website part of what you do. Is the website necessary anymore? I mean, we've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, maybe for a little bit longer. We've got, Facebook, this, that. We have booking apps. Is a website necessary anymore?
Absolutely, 100%. Because for many reasons, one of them would be, like you said, TikTok for a little bit longer. How many people lost their mind when Instagram had their outage last month? Have you built an entire business with communication, client communication through Instagram? What if your account gets hacked? We've seen influencers with tens of thousands of followers lose their account. So you can't like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, they're aspects of marketing your business, but your website you own. So that is yours. Someone can't take it away from you. So I do think from a stability standpoint, you need to have a website for sure.
And websites are we still talking about the normal URL, the .com? There's other .com extensions these days. I think there's even a .salon, isn't there? Are you advising people to still do a .com, or are there other better things?
.com's kind of your basic. As long as you can get your salon name .com, I think that's perfect. It makes it more complicated if your client needs to remember like .net, .salon, .au, .org, anything like that. Just as simple as possible is best.
Right. It seemed to me that a lot of these extensions that have been popping up over the last 10 or 20 years, it seems like most people are not using them, even though they seem kind of cool. So as far as the creation of a website, can't we just go to one of these website platforms like Wix.com or Squarespace or Shopify or SquareUp? I mean, there's a whole handful of them. Is that good or bad to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I personally think making and designing a website is quite easy. I've taken additional marketing and training through, I'm a Squarespace Circle designer, so I've had additional advanced training with Squarespace. It's my design platform of choice. But making a website is actually not that hard. But my clientele and my target market for website clients are salon owners and hairstylists who don't want to make their own website. We had this kind of hashtag boss babe, you can do it all kind of thing. And I think a lot of salon owners specifically are like, I don't have time to be a social media marketer, an email writer, a photographer, a videographer, a website designer, a SEO, Google My Business, and they're just like, can I pay you to do it for me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's value in that. How long would it take someone who doesn't know how to use Squarespace to build a website, get frustrated with it, watch help tutorials and everything like that? I mean, you could just pay me and go do 2 haircuts and colors at the salon.
Right. No, that makes a ton of sense. But I actually want to know the answer to that question. How long would it take? Let's say, we're not. Let's say in somebody gets out of college, they want to start a business, not necessarily a hair business, but they want to start a business selling Pokemon cards or whatever, and they want to build a website using Squarespace. How long would it take somebody to actually build their own?
Depending how techy you are, couple days, couple weeks. I'd say like it takes me anywhere between 4 to 10 hours to build a website, depending on how much content, how many pages, how much personalization and customization. And that's knowing what I'm doing. Someone who is maybe more naturally techie than me, it could be faster. If you're someone who's like, mid 30s, 40s plus, who technology is already going over your head and you're going to get frustrated trying to move stuff around the screen, that could take you months and a lot of frustration.
That's very funny. You just aged the hell out of me right there. You said 30s. You started with 30s. How could you start with 30s? 30s is so young. You have to start with 50s because I'm not in my 50s yet. So you have to say, if you're one of those people up there in their 50s, 60s, 70s, it's going to take you months.
Yeah. Well, I base that off of my clientele who typically are anywhere from like mid 30s and up, who are getting frustrated with the technology and can see the value of paying someone else for it. Someone probably in their 20s is earlier at the beginning of their career and probably has more time than they do the money.
Great point. That makes a lot of sense. All right. So what is important about a website for a beauty professional? You being one, being a salon owner, and being a web designer, uniquely capable to answer this question. What are the key elements of a website for a hairdresser?
Well, the key elements is to communicate to your client where you are, what your specialty is, and how to book with them.
Where you are. I want to take a pause for a moment because I don't understand how so many hairdressers, yes, I'm talking to you as you're driving to the salon in your car, how many of you do not have your geographic location on your Instagram profile? It's
exactly
crazy. I mean, it is probably the most important thing next to your name to have on your Instagram profile. Yet how many profiles do I go to and I have no idea where this hairdresser lives or works? Okay, so I emphasized geography. Okay, what are the other things that you named?
So your specialty. So a client can go to the homepage of your website and immediately tell by the vibe of your website if they're going to be a good fit in your business. So, are you vivids? Are you gray blending? Are you extensions? Are you blonding? Someone is looking to get, a natural gray blending business professional, and your website is very loud and very colorful with like vivids and stuff. They're immediately either going to be drawn to that or repelled by that. And a good website should do both.
Okay. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. What about for the hairdresser who really doesn't have a specialty and they do a little bit of everything?
Well, I think that some of that comes into just an overall coaching of what point are they at their career, or are they wanting to niche down and specialize? But then I think it can also be a vibe. Like, are you trying to target a certain demographic, a certain income level, a certain age level? Because you can't just be like, I do everyone between the age of 10 and 90 and I can do everything.
Right. Okay. What else is important about a website?
Having your pricing listed. I personally, as a consumer, which is the aspect and lens that I try to look at things through, as a consumer, it drives me absolutely nuts when I'm looking for a product or a service and there is not at least a starting point of pricing.
This is a tricky one, right? Because the hairdresser doesn't want to turn anybody off, but they want to give them an idea. And so usually what you see is like, just going to make up a number, $100 and up, right? And do you agree with the and up?
Oh, absolutely. Someone who comes in with my length and thickness of hair is not going to be the same as someone whose hair is down to their butt. But you want to have that starting price at, because the last thing you want is starting at 100 and the client to have wanted someone around a $50 budget, and now she's in your chair, you're doing the consultation, it's not within her budget, and everyone's time's been wasted.
Right. Okay, what else?
Pictures, clean, crisp, clear branding pictures of you, your salon, in your space. That again conveys the vibe. Are you modern? Are you boho? Pictures immediately build that know, like, and trust factor with your clients, so they can see themselves in your space. They're not just those weird stock photos.
There are some websites that have done a pretty good job of incorporating the Instagram feed into the website. Do you like that or don't like that?
I love that. I think that's a great alternative to having like a gallery of hair that I've done, because as you post on Instagram, it's a plugin that works with your website, so it's automatically updated all the time. So it's always, recent work that you've done. I think it's a great addition to a website.
Yep. And just another reason why you should not be lazy and post on your Instagram, because it also benefits your website. Okay. Anything else?
I think it's a great opportunity to attract new clients, build with your current clients. Say if you have a newsletter, you could have a page on your website that announces new products, sales, price increases, things like that. But the main thing a website can do is actually just take a lot of other things off of your plate. Personally, behind the chair, I very rarely post on Instagram and Facebook because I'm getting 8 to 10 new client requests a month that are perfect target market client, and that's directly coming from Google searches and my Google My Business profile. So if those are optimized, you can kind of, you don't want to stop entirely on social media, but you can definitely take your foot off the pedal.
So you have ventured into my next question, which is, how does one, and I guess I'm kind of asking this question to you as a web designer. Maybe you do this, but I think I'll just ask the question generally. How does a hairdresser manage their online profiles on Google? You called it Google My Business, which is what Google calls it now. When you have a business, especially a local business like a hair salon, Google My Business is the part that you go to manage your listing in the information that people can find when they search. And the other one, Yelp, everyone's, most hated, least favorite, most favorite, sometimes liked review site.
Good old Yelp. You either hate it or you hate it. So.
You love it and you hate it, and then you hate it.
Yeah. As a consumer, you may love it, but as a hairstylist, it's probably one of the banes of your existence.
It is 100%. Okay, so is there what is the most efficient way for a very busy hairdresser mom, let's say, type of hairdresser, to manage their online profile in Google and Yelp?
Well, if you want to do it yourself, there's a couple ways. You could just hire someone to manage it entirely for you, and then you don't have to do it at all.
Well, that's what I was kind of going towards. Do you, Alannah Zilkowsky, manage people's Google My Business and Yelp pages?
I manage people's Google My Business profiles. Yelp is a bit of a tricky one because of login and admin permissions. However, Yelp is depending on your area, is a bit of a different monster, but I do offer trainings and help for people to do a once over of your Yelp. It's a bit more of a set in and forget it, whereas Google My Business, you need to be posting on weekly to stay at the top of search engine results.
And with Google My Business, with the posting that you're talking about, which is very important, And when we're talking about posting, we're talking about pictures, right? Primarily.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
sometimes you can change the copy on there. But the pictures, I'm assuming you can't link Google My Business to your Instagram, because wouldn't that be easy? But of course, that is cross platforms and they hate each other. So they're not going to allow
Yep.
that. So do you actually have to go on there? Or if you're managing somebody's Google My Business, you would go on there and post pictures?
Yeah, so I manually go on there on a weekly basis, post an update, post a picture, post some keywords, SEO, and then reply to any new reviews that you've gotten.
So you just named all the very important things to do for SEO reasons. Google wants you, well, Google basically owns the search universe, right? Which is extremely valuable to a local business like a hairdresser. And they want you to use or to have both. They want you to have and to use their Google My Business listing. And the more active you are maintaining your Google My Business listing, the more they're going to treat you well in search results.
Yeah, Google prioritizes people in search engine results who actively nurture their Google My Business profile.
Nurturing your Google My Business profile. Exactly. Kind of like a little baby in your arms. You have to hold your Google My Business profile and take care of it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then Google sees you doing it and goes, "Aw, you like us. We like you too."
That's right. And that hairstylist across the street has ignored his Google My Business profile. So when somebody searches for hairdresser Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta, they're going to give you the priority on the results, aren't they?
Yep.
So
That's
that's
exactly how it works.
That's how it works. Okay. Online booking, yay or nay?
Yay. I believe the most recent survey came out saying something like 87% of everyone prefers to do online, to have the option of online booking at least.
Okay. And how deeply have you gone into the online booking universe? Do you have favorites? Do you have opinions?
I personally use Vagaro. I don't love it, but I don't hate it enough to switch it to somewhere else. I don't think there's a perfect booking system out there that checks all of the boxes that I would want. Vagaro's fine, and I've heard good things about Square as well. Not Squarespace, the website, Square Up, the payment terminal system.
Right. Square, the one everybody knows and overpays for. But that's okay because they know it.
Yep.
Okay.
They got you. They know how much of a hassle it is to switch,
right.
so they just...
That little white thing that they give you. They are more expensive than the others, but some people just feel like it's easier, more user-friendly, so they keep using it. They used to offer free booking, but they no longer offer free booking. There's about 5 million booking apps out there trying to get you, the hairdresser, to use them. But I would say there's probably 5 big ones that have really gathered most of the market. And Vagaro is one of them. Square is one of the other ones. Gloss Genius I would throw in there. Booksy I would throw in there. Who else?
I've heard about Mango Mint. I know a couple people who use it. That's, I think, for bigger salons. It's got a pretty pricey monthly price tag.
Mango Mint is kind of a newer one. And I do think, I agree with you, it's more enterprise. They call it enterprise, where you've got like 5 hairdressers or 50 hairdressers on there all at the same time. And there's like a front desk and a management sort of thing. But at the risk of omitting anybody, I'll just stop naming names now. Everybody knows them. But, and it's a very controversial conversation always, because people have their favorites, but even the ones that they use, they're never 100% happy with them. And just like you are with Vagaro, you're not 100% happy, but it's a pain in the ass to switch. But I guess the point is that it's a good thing to do. And I'm assuming that you're pretty good at connecting the website to the booking app.
Yeah, absolutely. That's as easy as just having the buttons link up to book now. A lot of my clients will do a new client form or new client application. So it goes through the new client form and then at the end goes to the online booking system. But that part's the kind of the icing on the cake of the website. That's an easy integration.
All right, very good. What about the booking platforms that offer you a free website? Like, how does that? Can you toggle that away and put your own, let's call it Squarespace website as a link on, let's say, Gloss Genius? Because I know Gloss has, they offer a website URL. So let's say you don't want Gloss Genius's website URL. Like, how does that work?
So depending on the booking system, I have mine toggled off on Vagaro because it's a free website builder and you kind of get what you pay for with it. And it's not optimized for SEO. It's very hard to update. So I kind of just turn that off.
Got it. How easy is it to change something on your website? So you have a website, Alannah Zilkowsky made it. It's beautiful. Clients love it. But let's say you're changing something, your address or whatever. Is it an easy thing to do? Do they need to email you to change it, or can they change it?
So once the website's done, finished, published, live, my clients get entire ownership and admin access. So they could go in and change the address themselves and do any updates that way. Most of my clients, once the website is done and finished, they go onto my monthly retainer service. So for that, it's $67 a month, and they basically have me as their web designer in their back pocket. They get unlimited updates, text, picture, layout. So whenever anything needs to be changed on the website, they just send me a quick email and I do it for them. So it's just taken off their plate.
And then what about hosting? Does that include hosting?
The Squarespace hosting is a yearly fee. All of my clients get 20% off because I'm a Circle Squarespace designer, but that's all taken under the umbrella of Squarespace.
Got it. And then how much is hosting for your average site?
It's typically about $200 a year, depending on if you pay annually or monthly. They always give you a deal if you pay annually. Okay. And that's pretty across the board with like Wix and Squarespace and not Spotify, Shopify, all of those. They're all around the $200 to $300 a year, depending on how many features you pick out from them.
Very cool. Okay, grand finale question. How much does it cost for Alannah Zilkowsky from Breeze Web Designs? I haven't even said the name of your business. It's Breeze Web Designs. How much does it cost for you to make a website for a hairdresser?
It's about $700 for a custom website and $67 a month for me to continue maintaining and doing the SEO in the background.
Very, very cool. Did you like how I led that up? Like that was very dramatic, wasn't it?
10 out of 10.
Okay, well, that's very reasonable. So this was awesome. Anybody, listeners, if you have any questions, I'm sure, Alannah, you're open to questions. Breeze Web Designs on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And then what about, you have your own website. What's your own website?
It's breezewebdesigns.com.
breezewebdesigns.com, and they can find you listeners can find Alannah there. Hit her up, ask her questions, check her out. Alannah, thank you so much for this, and thank you so much for doing Hair Aid. Such a cool thing. And from all of our listeners, the Hair Game podcast community, thank you for being a part of that.
Thank you, and thanks for having me on and giving me the opportunity to chat about it and share about it to your audience.